Mm.
Oh, so I
So,
had my testing. Oh, yeah,
yeah, I
tell
was
me.
going to say,
Oh,
I was going to say, how did your testing go? That was exactly what I was going to ask.
so um, interesting. I'll do a bit of an intro for this. I have been assessed for autism and ADHD by a company in Adelaide, um,
Mm,
Adelaide Psychology, and it was a little bit scary going in because I didn't know what I was getting into, but it was also fun, which was interesting.
mm,
So
mm,
prior to the appointments, I had four appointments, two on Tuesday, two on Wednesday, all an hour long. Prior to the appointments, I had to fill out five online assessments and
mm,
two paper assessments. So there's seven assessments already been done.
mm, mm,
And then I went in there and she, yeah, was a really lovely lady who is probably similar. And so we spent a lot of time laughing. But yeah, the questioning and the covering off on things I did as a kid and other stuff was really interesting because I think
mm,
some things I thought I did was because of ADHD, but it's actually autistic stimming.
mm.
So I'm more autistic than I thought I was. Which was funny at the end of it because she
Mm,
said, "Oh, not sure if you're a level one or a level two. I'm going to get some advice from another colleague." And I said, "That's fine."
mm,
So she came back at the next appointment and said, "I'm going to classify you as a level two." And I went, "Oh, okay. How
mm.
many levels are there?" And I'm
Three.
thinking, yeah, I'm thinking she's going to say five or 10.
Yeah, no, three.
And she said three. And I went, all I did was go, "Oh."
Mm,
That was it.
mm.
So yeah.
You want to just step back for a minute. Why did you decide as an adult who's well into her 60s that it's worth going and being diagnosed officially?
Okay. So part of the impetus is that old doom scrolling that all of us do. So,
Mm,
we relate to something on YouTube or TikTok or something
mm,
else, and we go, "Oh, that's interesting," and go
mm,
into that. Um, but background wise, for years and years, I have joked, and I treated it as a joke, that I have job ADD. And I used to say
mm,
that.
mm,
So the longest time I ever worked for someone was BHP engineering, and I had very different jobs in that time. And that was
mm,
just for 3 years. So anywhere I've been, I've done that, change roles,
mm,
get bored after a while, learn something, and then want to move on.
mm,
Um, and the other thing about the job with BHP Engineering was that we went through Cooper's Lybrand and KPMG, large corporate companies that assess executive staff. Now, I wasn't an executive, I was just a
mm,
clerk level, secretary type stuff. But they decided to put the lower levels through the same company because it was just easier and quicker. And I got a report back saying that I really think very alternatively and that
mm,
I would be an asset to the team because I would find methods and answers to problems
mm, mm,
outside of normal thinking. And
mm,
so I knew I was a bit different
mm,
anyway. So that just sort of that couched in positive terms
mm,
for me.
mm,
And so
mm,
that was good. Um, in going over the childhood stuff, I never quite got a lot of social stuff. Um,
mm,
I have a crap fashion sense a lot of the time, so I've worked out that I'm just wear what I like to wear. Um, but I didn't understand the social dynamics a lot of the time, and I didn't buy into peer group pressure.
mm,
So they're the sort of things that came up in videos.
mm.
And then there's those assumptions we all make, and you sometimes see a meme about it. Um, what do you mean other people don't have a voice in their head that talks all the time? And um, yeah, so, and that,
Mm. So, what
yeah.
was the trigger to actually get diagnosed as an um, older person?
I think going through some stress issues in my life,
Mm,
I wondered why I was dealing with them the way I was. And if I got
mm,
a greater understanding of me, I would have access to better tools, or
mm,
at least not beat myself up with the way I'm responding to things, and
mm, mm,
recognize that, okay, normal people do this, I'm doing something different, but that's just my wiring,
mm,
not constantly questioning myself as to why I'm different, and why I don't get it like other people do
mm,
sometimes.
mm. So really the outcome you're looking for is that you then have tools to live the last third of your life
Mm,
with
yes,
more knowledge about the way you interact with the world.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, self-acceptance, I think.
Mm,
Um, yeah. So
mm. No, that's good. Yeah.
no, it was
So,
interesting.
yeah. So level two. That is it.
Level
So is
two
that
autism.
official now? That's the
Not
official.
yet. That's the
No.
preliminary, and I will get a
Yep.
full report in about 6 weeks.
Yep.
So they have a team that goes over it all, but they're really, really busy
Mm,
at the moment. So yeah, and then ADHD, yes, as well. So during one of the appointments, I had to fill out another 3 online questionnaires, and she sat me down at the desk, and I just assumed she was reading or something. Um, and I did the 3 questionnaires, and a little beeper went off next to me, and it said something about 5 emails. But I'd noticed it said 5 emails originally, and it distracted me. I sort of looked away, and okay, and it still said 5 emails. So I thought that was odd. So, but what was actually happening, she was watching me the whole time on how I applied myself, what my body was doing, and the fact. And I realised afterwards when she told me that that's actually an intended distraction to see what my reaction is. So,
mm,
yeah, so that was interesting to see how they process all this stuff. So,
mm,
and I know that I move all the time, but I'm not aware that perhaps others are seeing it. And she said, you
mm,
never stopped moving your legs once in that whole 10 minutes. And
mm,
I'm just doing it constantly. So, um,
mm,
yeah. So it was just really interesting. And yeah, it's mixed feelings coming away from it, because you've got answers, but then, yeah, where does that lead you? I
mm.
guess I
Where
can
to from
confident,
here?
yeah, I guess I can confidently talk about it from my own terms with other people, perhaps in our videos and stuff, because now I know I am.
Mm,
Like, yeah. Um, I told Marilyn, a friend you would have met at birthday parties years ago for Juanita, and she's just had heart operation. She just looked at me and said, "Well, that explains a lot." So,
yep.
um,
Yep.
yeah. So, yeah, the fact that I sometimes don't get certain forms of humour, but a lot I do. So, yeah. And the other thing that we talked about is learned experience, and why women are going undiagnosed is because we have had to manage these conditions and learn ways to avoid issues for decades. I mean,
Mm,
we talked about social interaction. Well, I didn't really have social interaction with little kids at Cook, because there was only one other kid my age, and he was only there for a year or so.
mm,
So I didn't build social cues until I got to school, and then I just didn't get the whole factions thing. These girls
mm,
don't like those girls because of, and I'm like, so, like, yeah.
mm, mm,
So yeah,
mm,
so I guess now I can at least share it with other people, knowing that I actually am, not just assuming that I am.
mm, mm,
Yeah,
mm,
yeah. So,
mm. Well, and
and
it means too, depending on where it's affecting your decision making and things like that, you can get other people to help where you
Yes.
need that help. Like, it's like, hey, I'm
Mm.
making this major decision. I just want to talk through it. Like, and
Yeah.
people are more likely then to actually give a true opinion rather than just, oh, there goes D again. Like, and not give an actual honest opinion.
Yeah. Good
I know
point.
that. Yeah, I
Mm.
know that. Because it's like, oh, yeah, there goes Sonia again.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
That's right, because if they think, oh, okay, she's processing this information differently, therefore I can, give input that perhaps you wouldn't normally give input for.
yes, yeah, because I'll often process
Mm,
information that's verbal, but I won't look at the person for that time. I take it
mm,
away. And I didn't maintain eye contact with her, and I thought I was good at it. That's the other funny thing. I thought I was good at certain things, and I'm not. So she said, when you're talking to
okay.
me, you're looking around me. So I've learnt that I'm supposed to have eye contact, but I'm looking at different things around that person's head. And I didn't know that. I thought I was being good at
Mm,
it. Now, others may not notice, but she did.
yeah,
Um,
because she's trained.
yeah,
She
and
knows what to
I
look for.
asked,
Yeah.
yeah, she asked me about the patterns in the room that I can see. And I went, oh, yeah, there's this bars on the window, and there's this, and there's this, and there's a crocheted blanket hung on the chair behind her, which has got a geometric pattern. And so it's just funny things, yeah. Um, the other funny thing was that I am really crap at recognizing facial expressions. Now, I thought I was really good at that. I talk about micro expressions and other things when I'm doing things. And I have over the years gotten quite good at reading people's situations. So we talked about that because when I failed so catastrophically at these little cartoon pictures of faces, I went, wow. Um, so why am I able to read certain situations? And we established that I'm picking up on words and vocal tones that's giving it away. And then I'm
Mm,
mixing it with a little bit of right that I get on the facial expression. So I'm thinking I'm reading facial expressions, and I'm not. I'm reading tone and words.
mm.
So we think we know ourselves even at 68. And I've got it so damn wrong. It's not, at least I can laugh about it. But I did come away from that one shocked. I was just like, okay, I need to, yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was. So, but yeah, now I know that. So I can, yeah, attune accordingly, or perhaps read the tone and vocals and then watch the face to learn it. So, yeah, we think we know ourselves, especially when we're older.
So once you get the report, will the report have tips and hints for how to navigate life?
Manage. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting because I really went there. My objective in going was just for an assessment. I just want answers. If
Mm,
it's one and not the other, or if it's both, or if it's none, I can then, you know, manage my own behaviour better. So
mm,
the first thing I had to confirm with them is that I didn't want medication because they're psychologists, not psychiatrists. And I said, I'm not looking for medication. I actually enjoy my brain. I'm
mm,
glad I enjoy the occasional erratic. Yes, it annoys me sometimes and creates problems, but I've learned to really work with it. So I
mm,
didn't want medication. When she was talking about the level of autism, she said, oh, so we can build in accommodations. And I went, I don't think I need any accommodations. Yeah, okay, my brain's different, but I'm 68. I've managed to learn a lot of skills.
mm,
Yeah, I'm not sure that I actually need anything. But because I'm classified as level 2, I will have access to services if I want them, which
mm.
is interesting. I don't know what I'd want, but I guess it gives me access perhaps later on when I'm much, much older. If, I don't want them putting me in a room with another person if the TV is going to be really loud and on 24/7.
Mm,
Those sorts
mm,
of things, I guess, if I think about yeah, the tough times in the future. Yeah, so yeah, but I wasn't looking for that either. I was just wanting answers and understanding. And it explains why I take 2 hours to wind down after a social event. Like I'll come home and I won't go to bed for a couple of hours. So my brain will be processing conversations and energies and